Hi, welcome to the Coffee Hour, a show that involves you in verbal interaction. Sports with Brian Camp. So settle in with coffee in hand and enjoy the Coffee Hour. Now here's your host, Frank Allan.
TGIF, thank God it's Friday. As we always do, we come in and we entertain you for a whole full hour. Welcome, everyone, and it's another edition of the Coffee Hour. And we're going to be here for a whole hour, as I said. And in that whole hour, we're going to have a lot of fun together. We'll have everything that you want to talk about. We'll have, of course, sports coming up, all of that. I'll tell you about that in just a few moments. But the whole idea is to get everyone involved in the show. And those of you who have been around with us for a long time, we thank you so much for being with us again, for putting up with us all of these years. And for all of you new people, let me show you how the show operates if you're here for the very first time. Now, as the host of the show, I'm doing what I'm doing now to get it together and get everybody assembled and get things started, right? That's what I'm calling prepping, which I should have done before the show. Anyway, while we get the show rolling, you can be involved right now if you want. All it takes is a few fingers, and a keyboard. All you have to do is just type in whatever you want to talk about. I will see you right there on the big screen. I will entertain all of your thoughts and ideas. And it's just as simple as that. You can do it on your computer, your cell phone, or even your tablet, or any other device that you may use that has a screen and a keyboard. Just type it right in and we'll acknowledge you. And if there's anything in particular you want to talk about specifically, do it. You know, we will entertain that. We will try to get everybody's on as quick as possible. Just type it in and I'll see you and we'll get it going. How about that? That's the whole idea of the show. It's free form and it's free opinions and ideas of opinions. That's how we do it around here. But nevertheless, we're glad to have you aboard. And those of you here for the first time, we're on 3 different places, all right? Live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. All right, so any of those 3 places, you can go there and you can watch us and tell your family and friends about it. And those of you who are watching us on Facebook, take the time right now to select some of your friends, maybe not all of them, on your account on Facebook and tag them. Bring them to us. And if they like what they see, if they like what they hear, of course, naturally, they'll come back again and again and be full-fledged members just like you. So why don't you get that started right away? We really would appreciate that. For all of you guys who are watching us on YouTube, I always encourage you to go onto my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. It's very simple. Just take your mouse, drag the arrow over to where it says subscribe. You'll see it right there. And all you have to do is click right onto it, and that's it. And it doesn't cost you a thing. No money, no nothing. Free of charge. Everything here is free. We charge no one anything. So you do that right now. And the whole idea of getting you involved with that, clicking on and subscribing to us, is because that will give you an idea or some kind of inkling. When we come on the air live, right, you get the notification. It'll pop right up right in your online. Even if we so much as post a video, you'll get notification, and all you have to do is click on to that notification and it'll bring you right to the YouTube channel and you can act accordingly. Okay, so that's good. That's the whole idea and the purpose of subscribing. Besides that, it helps us out a lot. And it gives us a little leverage on the show as well. And of course, at the same time, you can always tell us what you like and what you don't like. And we kind of work things out together. Now, for those of you who are watching us on Instagram, you don't have to do anything at all. The only thing that you have to do is just keep the word going about the Coffee Hour and let everyone know that we're on the air with it. All right. And let them know that they can be part of it as well. And remember, you don't have to be here 20 years. You could be here a day. You could be here for the first time, but you're just as important as someone who's been with us a very long time. So we want to welcome you once again to the Coffee Hour. Now, a lot of you may be at work right now, whether you're in different time zones. And if you're watching your clock right now, if you're in a different time zone from where we are, we're Eastern. So we're after 10 o'clock in the morning over here. Now, you may be someplace else. Look at your clock and understand that we come on the air where you are each week at that particular time. And some people, as I said, they're at work standing around the water cooler, talking about sports and everything that happened the night before. Well, this is the time where you should be at your desk. Take that coffee hour. They give you what, 15 minutes or so? Take that 15-minute coffee break and stay at your desk, enjoy your coffee, sit back, relax on your desk, and watch the show. And when the 15 minutes of your coffee break is over, go back to work, and you'll still be at your computer. You'll still be at your desk, and you can go back to work and watch the show at the same time, which I like to call multitasking. And I know that you're very good at that. All right. And so that's all it takes right here. On the show, as usual, as we interact with you, we do our regular routine. For instance, in a few minutes from now, as a matter of fact, in this first half hour of the show, we're going to hook up and link up with Brian Camp coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He's going to be with us. He'll bring to you the latest developments in today's world of sports. The name of his show is called Sports Update. He's got all the information, and he'll talk about all of that, the upcoming Super Bowl and all of those other things that are coming up. Baseball is coming up pretty soon before you know it. Guys will be back at spring training in April, and we look forward to that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're going to be talking about what's happening now. And if you have any questions that are sports related, you can ask him while we're on the air. As you can see, you'll be able to see him, and he'll be right on camera. For those of you who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube, you'll get to see him. But if you're watching us on Instagram, we don't have that luxury of putting him on camera. But you can see, you can hear his voice, and you could still communicate with him at the same time. All you have to do is just type in whatever you have to say. And even if it's so much to say good morning, we really appreciate that. And so there you have it. So keep everything in mind that we're going to be here again for a whole full hour. And we thank you right down the line. All you guys on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Remember, all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, The Coffee Hour, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other social media outlet or broadcast facility. So that being said, let's do what we always do. Let's raise our cups, ladies and gentlemen, and realize, what would the coffee hour be without a little coffee? So, excuse me while I shoot up. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's marvelous. Hope yours is the same, whatever you have. You may, just because it's a coffee hour, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have coffee. You could have cocoa, tea, or whatever, and hang out with us and enjoy it. I want to say good morning to Warren. I can see him. He's watching us on Facebook coming out of Greensville, North Carolina. Thank you, Warren, for being along with us. Tell us about your weather forecast. I already know that his weather forecast is looking good. He's got sunny skies out there. And the reason why I can tell that is that he's got the emoji going. He got two suns emoji. I hope just the emojis are just two suns. I hope he doesn't have two suns where he could look up at the sky and see two suns. Then he would be in the twilight zone. I want to say hello to Mary Reed too as well. My old schoolmate from way back when. I'm not going to say how far way back when, but good morning, Mary, to you. Thank you so much for being with us. And for the rest of you who are watching us, you guys on Facebook, all of you guys on YouTube, and all of you guys on Instagram as well. We have a good show for you. And by the way, if you're going to join us in conversation, let us know what it's like, okay? And as far as your weather is concerned, Warren already told us he has sunny skies. That's all I know right now. Oh, he updated that. It's 65 degrees presently over there in Greensville, North Carolina, and it's cloudy. All right. But he put sunny emojis there. I guess the sun is going to come out later. I guess I'm going to only guess that's what it is. But it's 65 degrees right now. And for those of you who are going to chime in, please give us your weather forecast. That's nothing that's mandatory. That's just something that we like to do and compare notes, see what my weather is compared to your weather. No matter where you are around the world or across the country, everyone has different weather forecasts. And it doesn't have to be a full-blown weather forecast. It can be just simple, just for us to get an idea of what it's like in your area. Okay, so if you can do that, that would be great. And if you're living in New York or in the vicinity of New York City, you don't have to worry about that. I'll take care of that. I'll give you the local forecast of New York which I got to give you a heads up on. It's not looking good for the weekend, but we're going to make the best out of it. Now, I already told you sports is coming up. I also have to tell you that towards the end of the program, I have those movies that you like. Great selection of movies directly from Turner Classic Movies. I like classic movies. I know you like classic movies. So I always go there and get my picks of the week for your weekend. And I say your weekend because the weekend is just practically upon us. And I know whatever you do on the weekend, you do it, right? And you do it very well, I must say. But there may be something that you want to change up. For instance, if you're going to be in an area where you have a lot of inclement weather and it's just going to keep you in the house, well, I couldn't think of a better time to get involved and catch up on some of those old movies that you haven't seen in a long time. So that being said, I am going to add to your bucket list of movies that you can watch over the weekend too, over Turner Classic Movies. They're only my picks of the week. And I think you'll like them. I think you'll like them. And I do that every week, by the way, just in case you're just joining us for the first time. I do that every week. So we'll see what's going on. You know something? We're in the midst right now. It's National Green Juice Day. Do you care? Well, I can tell you it's a good way to stay healthy. You know, drink your green juice, you know, whatever it is, or your vegetables and your fruits or whatever. But it's National Green Juice Day. So I would imagine all of you guys who really enjoy your green juice and you want to drink green, you're going to go out there and get it. I love that. I love that juice. I love it. I love going there to the juice bar and grabbing me a green drink. Tastes wonderful. It has different kind of ingredients, different kind of green vegetables and fruits and all of those things that are happening. So keep that in mind. It's Green Juice Vegetable Day. You know what else? It's National Peanut Brittle Day too. All right. So either you're healthy or you just want to get charged up on some sugary peanut brittle. All right. Well, this is a day for that. It's also National Spouse Day. Say hello to your spouse. Give your spouse a kiss, a hug. You know, let them know how much you love them. It's National Spouse Day. I don't know where all this stuff is coming from, but it's here. It's right in front of me. Also, it's National Fun at Work Day. Who has fun at work? Some of you guys don't care because some of you guys are retired. All right. But it is, if you're at work right now, if you're watching us at work, it's National Fun at Work Day. So try to make the best of it. That's all I can say. It's also, I don't know where this information is coming from. It's coming from. I shouldn't even waste my time with it. It's also National Big Wig Day. You want to look like Peggy Bundy? And get yourself a big wig and see how it works for you, right? And so we have all of those things there. But I think the most important thing, I think I like better out of everything I just said was National Green Juice Day. I think I like that better. It's more, it's more healthy. And a lot of us are on the health kick. Some of us are not on the health kick, but it doesn't matter. But I think that's the best one. But if you like peanut brittle, you know, enjoy a great green drink along with a side of peanut brittle, kiss your spouse, and have fun at work today with your big wig on. Thank you guys for being with us. Right now, we've got 13 minutes past the hour. And of course, again, let me repeat myself today. It's called the Coffee Hour. And we're having a little coffee, having a little fun. And you're invited to do so as well. So stay with us. We got a whole full hour of a lot of things going on. So ladies and gentlemen, let me take a quick break right now. Quick break. All right. So that's just coffee. The adult beverages, the shipment is coming in the back in about an hour or so, but we're not worried about that anyway. Again, thanks for being with us. And we talk about the health situation. And one of the things I like to promote, as you know, I always do, you may be involved in it and you may not be involved in it. But I always know that it's a great thing to learn about your health and to stay healthy at the same time. So that brings me to tell you that you ought to get your shots. Now, this is the flu season. The flu season is here right now, and it's going to be gone before you know it. We're going to get that summertime weather. So I'm always going to assume right now. I really don't like to assume anything. But I do like to say that if you have taken that shot, you're in good hands, all right? But the thing that I really want to promote at this particular time is the upgraded version of the COVID-19. That's the COVID-19 shot. That's the thing that you could take as well. Now, if you haven't done that thus far, maybe you ought to, be proactive and jump on and get with the program, because it just helps out a lot. Now, of course, COVID is not a death sentence anymore, but it's still around. We are here in the middle of the spike area. Things are spiked up when the weather gets cold for some reason. It kind of spikes. People do get sick. But the good news is that you can get sick and just blow it right off. I don't want to make it sound like it's that easy, because it's not that easy, even though it's not a death sentence anymore, but you still don't want to get it anyway. You want to try your best to avoid it. But the good news, if you're up to date with your shots, chances are you'll be I'm not going to say that you won't, contract it, but it's a very good chance that you could overcome it quickly than it was before. Because remember when the pandemic came around, it was terrible, wasn't it? It was really terrible that way. And with that pandemic, everyone was just bound to their houses. We were bored to hell. Everyone was just like, didn't know what to do with themselves. They didn't go to work. They had to work from home. They had to do this and do that. And then now that it's kind of like subsided and everything's okay, people are still not going back to work. At least a lot of people are still not going back to work. A lot of people are just lazing back and just getting on the telephone and doing their work from home, because now if you have a computer, if you have a cell phone or whatever, and you can do your work at home, if you have that ability to do that. And so therefore, continue to be proactive. Make sure that your children get them as well. The COVID-19, that's the updated version of the COVID-19 shot. Some people are not convinced that it doesn't work. But it does. And that's why a lot of us are here now. A lot of us beat it and we're not sick. And if you do get a little sick, you get the sniffles or sneezes or anything, and you still get checked out at the same time. Even if you feel, a lot of people feel if they get so much as a sneeze and it's constant, or they get a scratchy throat or a cough or something, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but there's still places that are available where you can take the test, a little shove up the nose, and you can get your results that same day. It's quick and it's easy. So you want to be proactive. Drink your fruit juices and your fruits and vegetables or whatever it is to stay healthy, because that's where I am on that. I want to say hello to Pam as well. Pam is watching us, Pamela Camilleri, and thank you, Pamela, for being here. Sports is just in a few minutes. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, let me give you a little news here. We already know it. We've heard about it already. Dexter Scott King, the youngest son of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, has died. You already know that. The King Center in Atlanta says the son of the civil rights leader died Monday at his home in California after battling prostate cancer. Dexter King was named for the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Alabama, where his father once served as pastor, and he was just 7 years old when his father was assassinated in 1968. Dexter King was 62 years old. The award-winning journalist Charles Osgood, who anchored CBS Sunday Morning for 22 years, and was the host of a long-running program, a radio program called The Osgood File, died Tuesday at his home in New Jersey. The cause of death was dementia. Osgood, a gifted news writer, poet, and author, and also, I may add, I'm just adding this one to it because I know this for a fact, he was a musician as well. And he spent 45 years at CBS News before retiring in September 2016. Osgood began anchoring CBS Morning Show in 1994. During his run on the show, and it reached his highest ratings levels in 3 decades and 3 times earned the Daytime Emmy as Outstanding Morning Program. He was 91 years old. So we say goodbye to Charles Osgood. And I always remember his phrase when I watched his show on Sunday mornings. He always ended off, because he had a TV show and a radio show, but when I watched him on the radio show, he always ended off by saying, "I'll see you on the radio." That was his phrase. That was his catchphrase. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, I'm going to link up right now with Brian Camp. Brian Camp is with us. And of course, he's always with us each week. He brings us the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. You guys, you fans who watched the football game last Sunday, the Chiefs, well, they took it away. But Brian will talk more about that. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing fine. How is everybody doing? Good morning to Mary. Good morning to Pamela. Good morning to Cousin Warren. How's everybody doing? Hope all is well. I'm in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, where presently it is 65 degrees, well, lots of cloud. There's a 10% chance of rain today. And we hope that it won't affect your weekend. It is warm, though. It's going up to 70 degrees, so our temperature is rising just a little bit, and hope all is well. I'm recovering from, had a toothache, had to have it pulled, and let me very quickly tell you my experience. I was trying to fight with the anesthesia, and I refused to go to sleep. I just refused to. You know, they talking about where I originally from, what football team. You know, that was just their gimmick, just to try to get me to go to sleep. But no, I was wide awake. I was doing this and doing that, and just being alert. And then, just when I thought that I was about to fade, I went, psych, I'm still here. I'm still up. They start laughing, still laughing. I did it again, psych. And then the doctor came in. I guess he wanted to know why I was staying up. But I was I was fighting it. But then next thing I know, he touched my hand and my wrist. Next thing I know, I was in recovery. I had that thing that they put in your mouth, a cotton ball. So that was my experience. It doesn't hurt. Just feel better now. But I was sleepy. I was so sleepy. I couldn't wait to get home and made up for lost time. But I am doing well and I'm pain free. So in any event, just wanted to throw that at you. But it's great to be here. Welcome to everybody that's listening and viewing globally, nationally, and locally. And let me get to sports. Well, we're down to 4 teams, the final 4, as they say in college football. Well, the AFC and the NFC championship games are going to be played on Sunday. First game will be at 3 o'clock, January 28th on CBS, as the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, is going to defend their title against the Baltimore Ravens. And that's supposed to be a good game. The Ravens are a favorite by 3.5. That line may go up a little bit more or it may go down. It all depends. But the one thing Kansas City they have that great quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. We're going to see. That's what makes sports games like this so exciting. Then the nightcap, the Detroit Lions, the NFC championship game, will be going against the San Francisco 49ers. That game will be on Fox television. That game will be at 6:30. So for Sunday, do what you have to do. If you're going to go to church, and then fix your dinner and get ready for 2 wonderful games set for you on Sunday. In the NBA, the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry had read, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Who shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, and who shall I be afraid?" That's from Psalms 27:1. He was reading the memorial that they had not too long ago for their assistant coach, who had passed away from a heart attack. He was one of the assistants. His name was Dejan Malikovic. He was assistant coach. Like I said, he was fortunately they was having dinner on Wednesday night, the night before, of a basketball game with the Golden State Warriors. And this happened in Salt Lake City, Utah, where they was playing against the Jazz, and suffered a heart attack and died the next day. And they had postponed 2 games. And a couple of nights ago, 2 nights ago, they had played their first game since then. And it was an emotional game. So for the rest of the season, they're going to have his name on the uniform of the players. And we just ask you all to keep the family in prayers. And let's just, continue to, go on and just enjoy life. But unfortunately, he did pass. He was on that 2022 NBA championship team as well as assistant coach. He is well loved and well respected. May he rest in peace. Baseball news. The 2024 Hall of Fame class was included 3 players. Joe Mauer, Todd Helton, and Adrian Beltre was elected to Baseball Writers Association of America, resulting in which they presented them from being in the National, presented them to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. The 3 will be joined by former manager for 22 seasons. He's managed Jim Leland, who managed the Miami Marlins to a championship, but he's better known for his years in Pittsburgh. So he was voted in by a special group, the Contemporary Baseball Era 9 Players Committee, in December. So these 4 gentlemen will be in the Hall of Fame. Now, for players, in order for them to be in the Hall of Fame, they have to have a 75% approval on voting for them to be members of Baseball Hall of Fame. That's how the Hall of Fame is. That's how it's always been. And that's how it's going to be for all players. There's still great players that's still out there. Pete Rose is not in there, but because of what he did with betting, he's not in there. Joe Shoeless Jackson from 1919 took a bribe. Then you got the steroid eras with Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Roger Clemens, who's still not in the Hall of Fame. They deserve to be in there. But when you do wrong, and when you don't have to play by the rules, this is what happened. This day in sports, January 26, 1913, Jim Thorpe relinquished his 1912 Olympics medals for playing 2 seasons of semi-pro baseball. Jim Thorpe is been viewed as the greatest athlete of all time. He played baseball, basketball, football, you name it, he played it. And but he had to relinquish those 2 gold medals. 1951, Mel Ott and Jamie Foxx elected into Baseball Hall of Fame. 1956, Hank Greenberg and Joe Cronin were elected into Baseball Hall of Fame. And in 1960, the Oakland Raiders entered the American Football League, which was at that time the AFL. And 10 years later, they merged into the NFL to make it one complete football company, the NFL. It was the AFL and joined in with the NFL, and they are known as the NFL of today. 1960, also, Pete Rozelle is elected to commissioner on the 23rd ballot. 1963, Major Rules Committee votes to expand the strike zone. 1991, Jan Stenerud becomes the first kicker to make NFL Hall of Fame. He was a kicker known as kicking for the Kansas City Chiefs back in those days, and later on played for the Minnesota Vikings. But he was one of the greatest kickers, and that's why he's the first kicker ever to be selected into the Hall of Fame. And in today, 2020, LA legend Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash in foggy conditions with his daughter and I believe it was 8 others. And we all remember that day. That was on a Sunday when I received the news, and it's like the whole sporting world just stopped. Birthdays, happy birthday. Paul Newman was born in 1925, actor, auto racer, team owner, and food company owner. Was born in Cleveland, Ohio. 1935, Bob Uecker, Major League Baseball catcher, broadcaster, and actor, was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 1961, hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, Canadian NHL center, was born in Bradford, Ontario. And happy birthday to Vince Carter, NBA forward, slam dunk specialist, and champion, was born in Daytona Beach, Florida. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a cloudy, gloomy, but warm day here in the Queen City of Charlotte.
Cloudy, cloudy out there. It was cloudy here too. And so every time I hear the clouds or see the clouds, I always think about that Temptation song, I've Got Sunshine on a Cloudy Day. So yeah, I'll keep that thought in mind. Listen, everyone is looking for the Super Bowl coming up. I'm just going to be a spectator. I don't know who's going to play. As a matter of fact, the Super Bowl, if I remember, give me a date on that. I think it's February.
2 weeks from Sunday.
2 weeks from Sunday.
Yeah.
And Usher is going to be performing, as you already said. Hopefully that turns out to be a good performance. They had pretty good performances, halftime performances back for many years. And we talked about it last night on last night's show, that Diana Ross was my favorite. No one topped that just yet. So maybe Usher will top it this year.
Well, maybe. My favorite was, of course, I'm being a little biased, is the Michael Jackson in 1993. Just so happened that was the year that the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl. But it's not the all-time greatest by Michael Jackson. I'm a big fan of his. I enjoyed his halftime performance. But I think Prince might edge out Michael for that. Now, you know, they've been compared a lot over the years, as we talked about last night. You know, it took me some years to realize how talented Prince was as an artist. He could play tons of musical instruments. But Michael Jackson is not the greatest singer in the world, but he's the greatest entertainer in the world. So there's always going to be something like between Michael and Prince. You can't go wrong. That's like with Sammy Davis Jr. with the Rat Pack. Frank Sinatra was the boss. He was the leader. He was the greatest singer of all time. I think he is. If he's not the greatest, he's top 3. But Sammy Davis could act, he could sing, he could play instruments, he could dance.
Yeah, he played just about any instrument that you can think of. I mean, I didn't know that, you know, what I like to do every once in a while is go on to a YouTube and just look at a lot of things. And I learned that he was playing, I knew that he played piano, I knew he played the drums, I knew all of that, but I didn't know he played trombone, I didn't know he played the vibraphones, and who else? Saxophone he played, I think, all of that. I think is every instrument. He was like when Frankie Lyman back in the 50s was the same way. A lot of people didn't know that, but he played a lot of instruments too.
Yeah.
Talented guys. You know, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, you're right. But, you know, but we're glad that that the people that are here witness greatness.
Yeah.
With Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra and Michael Jackson and Prince. You know, there's a lot of great artists that's out there, and you know, we were just blessed to see how they came up. I'm a little bit younger than you are, but you've seen more than me. And, you know, from the 50s and the 60s, I mean, I learned Motown through my brothers, you know, how they used to be around the house and singing and Motown songs, and I used to sing with them. And when I got to school, they all asked me, how did I know about these songs and everything? Well, I said, well, my brothers, you know, they used to give parties, you know, and they used to sing, and you know, I'd sing along with them, you know. So I think I was blessed.
Those are great days. They were great days, but they're gone. And so I mean, it's another era now. They have a lot, like I don't know. I can have an opinion about what the music is like today, how it is, how I feel about it, but it doesn't matter how I feel about it. This is what what we have today is what the kids are growing up with. This is what we had. We had our era. Now they're having their era.
Exactly. Yeah.
I won't,
Yeah.
I could say to myself, you know something, I really don't particularly like that kind of music, but
Mhm.
it's their music.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Yeah. I want to thank Warren for telling me that February 11th is Super. Well, we call it Super Sunday, which is Super Bowl Sunday. So it's February 11th, and you have 2 weeks to prepare after this coming Sunday. So, Mary, there were great artists. Tell me before I leave, and I'll watch the screen. Who was your favorite artist? And Warren, you tell me who was your favorite artist. And Pamela, if you're still out there, tell me who's your favorite artist. And if you've seen them in the Super Bowl, please share. In the meantime, I'm getting ready for my weekend.
I'm just going to be a spectator because the Vikings are nowhere around right now, and that's my team. I'm sorry, the Vikings are my team, but sometimes they get so close to it and it just doesn't happen. But I'm not going to cry over spilled milk.
That's right.
Okay.
Mary, okay. All right.
Or spill coffee, whatever.
Yeah. All right, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Be safe and enjoy.
Yeah, have a good weekend, Brian. Take care. Okay, that's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen. Always good to have him aboard with us. I love talking sports and other issues with him. Sports update. He's always with us at this time, bringing us the latest developments in today's world of sports. And he could also catch us. You can catch him also on my other show that comes on Thursday night, Talk Back Live. But we'll tell you more about that show when we get off the air. But right now, I want to say thank you guys and welcome once again if you're just joining us to the coffee hour. And as I said, we're going to be here to the top of the hour. And we still have a few minutes left. So with that few minutes, you could always chat with us and say hello. And also, I'd like to greet you guys personally. Now, those of you who don't want to say anything, that's okay. Sit back, relax, and enjoy and try to figure it all out. Try to make some sense of it if you possibly can. And if you're going to enjoy a conversation with us, please give us your weather forecast. You may be in a different city or different country. We'd like to know that. But those of you who are in the area of New York City, don't worry about it because I have that information for you right now. Our weather forecast. Now, I got to tell you something. If you're living in New York City, it's not going to be a good weekend weather-wise. Because we have 43 degrees presently, and but it gets better as it goes along. The temperatures get better as it go along, but the other elements are still going to be in the air, and you're not going to like it. So here we go right now for today. We've got rain showers this morning with overcast skies during the afternoon hours. We'll have a high around 50 degrees, and that's been warmer here in New York for quite a few days. Remember, just days ago, we had some frigid weather out there. So it just changes so quick. That's why you have to dress appropriately. And winds will be northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain will go up to 60% for tonight, Friday. Take the rain gear with you just in case. It doesn't say anything about it, but it's going to be partly cloudy in areas of patchy fog developing. At below 41 degrees, winds will be light and variable. All right. And I say take that rain gear with you because sometimes Mother Nature throws you a curveball and sometimes throws you a fastball, and you want to be able to catch it, right? Okay, for Saturday, we got cloudy skies. Cloudy areas of patchy fog will develop too. We'll have a high around 48 degrees. Winds will be light and variable. Saturday night, if you're going out on the town, does anyone go out on the town anymore? I remember in my day, everyone was out there. Anyway, it's going to be rain showers in the morning, in the evening, early evening. We've got some more clouds. There'll be steadier rain too as it goes along overnight. We'll have a low near 40 degrees. Winds will be northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain will be up there to 90%. Rainfall around 1/4 of an inch. So that sounds like a lot of rain, And for Sunday, you're going out to church or whatever your Sunday morning activities are, whatever it is, you go out there, take the rain gear with you once again. Occasional rain, high 41, winds northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of rain will be 90%. Rainfall near half an inch once again. And so that's our weather forecast for New York for the whole weekend. Doesn't look good. We've got 43 degrees out right now as we speak. So keep that in mind. You can always stay home and be creative, be innovative. I know you can do that because you can't help if you're stuck home, you can't help but be innovative anyway. You always come up with some kind of ideas. A lot of people do a lot of things. A lot of people do a lot of things that they like to do, like cooking, baking, or whatever it is that you do, right? And of course, watch movies as well, which later on we're going to tell you more about those movies that we have for you. Great movies too. Okay, so let's see. Let me go here. Let's see. Brian's saying he loves the underdogs, Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. So there you go. And so Mary has to go with the flow. And she had 4 reasons. I love you. I love it. I love it. Great. I love it. I love it all. And so act accordingly with this weather, okay? And everything will be fine, But I'm pretty sure, someplace else in the areas, of course, weather is just fine. You got sunshine, like out in Charlotte, North Carolina, maybe Greensboro. They're probably doing a lot better than we are doing. I'm pretty sure of that. Jazz and soul singer Marlena Shore has died peacefully at her home last Friday. She was best known for her rendition of California Soul. Shore's signature song was recorded as a humble album track on her 1969 LP, The Spice of Life, but later became a highly sought-after record for rare grooves collections and early hip-hop samplers. She was 81 years old. Actor David Gale, who played Shannon Doherty's fiance, Stuart Carson on the Beverly Hills 90210, has died. Gale, also known for his portrayal of Dr. Joe Scanlon in General Hospital's spinoff Port Charles, was mourned by his sister and colleagues. He was 58 years old. And let's see, Melanie, the chart-topping folk singer. I used to listen to her music in college, and she did the great songs such as Brand New Key and Lay Down Candles in the Rain. Also, Look What They've Done to My Song, remember that? Who performed at Woodstock Festival in 1969. She died Tuesday. She was born February 3rd, 1947 in Astoria, Queens, in New York. And Melanie studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and was influenced by both the folk scene of the day. She was 76 years old. The 96th Annual Academy Awards will be held Sunday, March 10th, at the Dolby Theater at Ovation Hollywood, and will air on ABC. So you can check it out then. The show will be hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, and that's his 4th time at this gig. He did this at the 4th time, and at least the last year, last years of the ceremony of last year, Everything Everywhere, all at one swipe, made the win for that particular year, and that includes Best Pictures. Oh, here's some sad news for all of you guys who like wrestling. Monday Night Raw is headed to Netflix. The WWE Netflix have struck a deal, and the WWE flagship show will be leaving USA and will move to the streaming giant, and that will start January 25th, January 2025. Additionally, Netflix will become the exclusive home for all the WWE programming, including SmackDown, NXT, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble outside of the US. Valerie Bertinelli, the beloved host of the Food Network competition show Kids Baking Champion, now says she is no longer going to be appearing on the show. Bertinelli broke the news to her Instagram followers over the last weekend, citing budget cuts as the reason she was given the removal from the show. Okay, birthdays in entertainment. Comedian Ellen DeGeneres is 66 years old today. Singer Anita Baker is 66 years old. Musician Eddie Van Halen, no longer with us. He would have been 69 years old. Actor Walt Disney. No. Actor Walt Woolley. I don't know where I got Disney from. Walt Woolley, who played on All My Children. He's 73 years old today. Movie critic Gene Siskel would have been 78. Activist Angela Davis is 80 years old today. These following people are no longer with us. Musician, songwriter Tom Bell would have been 81. Singer Gene Knight would have been 81. R&B musician Huey Piano Smith would have been 90 years old. We already mentioned Paul Newman. Paul Newman would have been 99. Actress Anne Jeffries, who played on the comedy back in the 50s called Topper, she would have been 101 years old. And composer Jimmy Van Heusen would have been 111 years old. So that's all of this day in entertainment. Got a lot of great entertainment for you. Those of you who are watching us, we thank you so much for being doing so. And of course, we want to continue to come into your homes and your work or wherever you are. And please feel free to chime in conversation like Mary and Warren and Brian and everybody else, Pamela, they're all out there. Mary watch movies, play games, and listen to music. She does all of that. So she's already innovated. She's got her weekend planned out. And I believe, Mary, you're out of Brooklyn, right? So that's New York. Weather's not going to be any good. So that's good. That's good. Everybody's going to be, anybody in inclement weather is going to be home just watching movies, playing video games, or doing whatever they want to do because you're all young at heart. Okay, so that's about it. But anyway, I want to welcome all of you guys who are just popping in. Welcome to the coffee hour. We have a few minutes left. And of course, those of you who like to get in touch with me, feel free to do that. I have two sources how you can do that. I have what I have for you. I have my email address and my telephone number. So what I want to do right now, I want to give you my email address first. Okay, email address is frankallanprod@aol.com. Please spell Allan, A-L-L-A-N. Other than that, you're going to go someplace else or your email will pop back to you. That's the correct way to spell it. A-L-L-A-N. Prod is P-R-O-D. That's short for Productions. frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. You may call me as well, 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. When you get in touch with me, you can let me know how you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the show, or you can critique the show if you want. We're thick skin around here. You won't hurt our feelings as long as you're doing it diplomatically. That's all we ask. And you can criticize to your heart's content, but make sure that is constructive criticism. And that gives us an idea on where we're going or where we should go. And maybe there's something that you want to add to the show, that you have an idea about the show. We would be able to listen to that as well. We try to take all good advice and try to make it a good show as much as possible. Or maybe there's a certain person you would like to have, like me to have on the show. I will do my best to have them on the show. Every once in a while, I do an interview with someone. I'll pop up on the coffee hour and I'll call them and say, hey, there's something happening and you would make a good part of the show on this. You're good on that topic, and I'll have them on, So if you have any ideas at all, please just get in touch with us. Now, you can keep all of that information in your Rolodex. Does anyone have a Rolodex anymore? I still have my Rolodex, but I never use it. You know why? Because everything is in the cell phone now. Everything is on your phone, in your computer, on your tablet. Everything is right in the electronics. And you can keep them right there. You never lose them unless, of course, it crashes. So I'll give you that information. I give this information each week anyway. Again, let me give you that information again. Frank Allan Prod, that's the email, frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. We were talking about earlier when Brian was on about what's going on as far as all of the music that we used to listen to back, as they say, back in the day, or if you're my age, you could say back in those days, however you want to phrase it, right? We had great music. And a lot of you who are watching right now could testify that back in the 50s and the 60s, if you're that old enough to remember, there was great music, and music that really took you back. It had a whole lot of meaning to it in the message of the music. It had a whole lot of meaning. Like, I'm a product of the 50s and 60s, especially my teen years was in the 60s. But I do remember the music growing up. I used to listen to the Allan show back in the 50s. And great doo-wops. I used to play doo-wops on the air before I retired from radio. I used to play doo-wops, and Frankie Lyman and let's see, all of those other great doo-wops. Larry Chance with the Earls. He had a group called the Earls. Larry Chance is no longer with us, but I used to play all of those great songs. But when we got to the 60s, man, the big thing was Motown. That was the Motown era. And everyone enjoyed the Temptations and the Supremes, Martha and the Vandellas, and music and a lot of you guys could testify to this. So we had that, and back in those days, in the 50s and the 60s, it was easier to live. We thought we had problems. We thought we had problems back then. And as you compare to what we went through back in the 60s to right now, we didn't have any problems at all. You know, I remember back in the 50s, gasoline was 45 cents a gallon. Remember that? Those of you remember the Jive 5, right? That's right, Mary, the Jive 5. I used to play the Jive 5. Eugene Pitt was the lead singer of the Jive 5. Who else did you have? So many. But gasoline was 45 cents a gallon back in those days. If you go to the store, your mom and your dad went food shopping, you get a big box of groceries. It costs you about $3, right? And back then you had all of those old supermarkets called the A&P. You had the Met. Yeah, you had, there was another one that in my neighborhood, I don't know if it was a chain of them, but it was called, I believe it was called Scatoros, something like that, you know. And it was just so easy to live back then. And like I said, a lot of groceries for $3. Now, back in those days, $3 was a lot of money. When I grew up, and I grew up in Brooklyn too. I'm a Brooklyn guy. Brooklyn. I grew up in the Williamsburg Project. I went to Boys High in New York, in Brooklyn, New York. We grew up in the Williamsburg Projects, and I had we had a lot of great stores. John Bargain's store. Remember? I don't know if you remember. This is like local New York stuff. But I grew up back then, and we had the penny candy, and we used to go to the movies. The movies back in those days were like 50 cents. 3 features for 50 cents. And you didn't have to leave after the movie was over. You could stay in your seats. If you went to one of those rock and roll shows, you paid like $1.50 and you could stay in your seat, you know. And you had the cartoons, you had the newsreels, you had a movie feature, and then a rock and roll show. We used to see Jackie Wilson and all of those people. We had fun back in those days. There was nothing like it. And if I told someone younger back in those days what a slice of pizza was back in those days, they wouldn't believe it. 50 cents for a slice of pizza. What is it now? It's about like $3, $3.50 for a slice of pizza, one slice of pizza. We had good times, guys, very good times, and great movies too. And speaking of movies, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you my picks of the week. But before I do that, I want to backtrack and see what people are saying here. So let's see. S&H food stamps, right? Now you're taking me back, Mary. S&H food stamps, and they came at the A&P, and those food stamps, right? You put them in a book, right? And you can get a prize, depending on how many stamps you collected or how many books that you had. And then you had the great disc jockeys like Murray the K and Alan Freed, Jack Lacey, Mad Daddy, and all of those people. Listen, maybe one of these days I can do a whole show on this thing, or maybe I can invite a guest that's been back, because I know a few people who was back in those days, a few singers back in those days. For instance, I may invite one of the Chantels. I know one of the ladies in the Chantels. I may have her, and we can talk about those old days. Wasn't the movies 50 cents? I did say that. I said the movies were 50 cents, Mary. The movies were 50 cents. Yeah, 50 cents. And you could stay in your seats all day. You didn't have to move. We used to always go on a Saturday and you stay all day. And when you came out of there across the street where we were, we had the Rainbow Theater, we had the Grand Theater, and we had the Graham Theater, which of course a lot of you who live in that area know about. And of course, yeah, Wolfman Jack was another disc jockey. And so we can talk about this on and on, but I got to talk about these movies that I have for you for your weekend in case you want to decide to watch any kind of movies for the weekend. Well, I want to add to your bucket list of some of those movies of what to watch. I have only 2 this week. So let's get started right away on that. The movies, let's get started. Just the Way You Are. Now, this goes back to 1984. This is not like a classic, but this is one of those movies that are very rarely played. And so you'll get a chance to see it. It stars Christy McNichols. If you remember Christy McNichols, she played on that drama called Family. Remember? And her character was named Buddy. Remember that? Well, this is Christy McNichols is in this movie. She plays a cripple, but I'm not going to give the whole movie away. But you can check it out. It's coming on this Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Okay, you say that's early. You're going out to church or whatever it is. Okay, DVR these movies if you can't watch them in real time, and you can watch them at your own convenience when you come back home. So it's 8:15 a.m. Eastern. Here's one that's really a classic. I mean, classic. Goes back to 1938, starring Betty Davis, Henry Fonda, and George Brett. It's called Jezebel. Another great movie from 1938, and you can check that out. It's Turner Classic Movies. This comes on Sunday as well, and it comes on at 6 p.m. Eastern. And again, DVR them if you can't, watch them in real time, and then you watch them later. You could also go to Turner Classic Movies and scroll through the program guide and see other movies that I didn't mention, and they may be movies that you didn't like that I didn't mention. And that's not because I didn't like them. It's only because these are my picks of the week. And so that's why I'm directing you to Turner Classic Movies, go through the program guide and see what you like and add it to your list as well. And while you're on demand, you got free movies too, from A to Z. A lot of great movies that you remember, some that you had forgotten about, but may jog your memory. And there are a lot of great movies there. You also have the pay-per-view movies that are in the theater now that you can watch in the comforts of your own home. It'll cost you a little more than the other pay-per-view movies that were in the movie theater not too long ago, but now they're lingering there on demand. They cost a little less, and you can watch those too. Also, you have all kinds of free movies, and you got sports entertainment. You have children's program, documentaries. You like Lifetime movies? I don't recommend anyone that Lifetime movies. Sometimes when you watch those movies, you get ideas. They have usually those movies how you could you murder someone. I don't want to get into that. Anyway, Lifetime movies are good, and they have a lot of those. And if you miss any of your sporting events, what you can do is go back the following day and watch it on demand. Sometimes you can watch it without commercial interruption. I don't want to swear to that. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But please, check these things out. They're great. So let me go over those movies one more time. Just the Way You Are, Christy McNichols. That's Sunday on Turner Classic Movies at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. Also Jezebel, 1938 with Betty Davis, Henry Fonda, and George Brent. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's all right there on Turner Classic Movies. Ladies and gentlemen, my weekend is officially underway. I'm going to get out of here, but I will be back here next week, next Thursday, as a matter of fact, on Talk Back Live, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Brian Camp will be with me with the latest developments in today's world of sports. We'll have him here, and I hope that you will be here too. If not, join me back here next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern for more of the Coffee Hour. Brian Camp with sports, and of course, you and I and a little coffee as well. Bring your own donuts and your bagels as well, all right? In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. God bless you, and take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Bye.
You've been watching the Coffee Hour with your host Frank Allan. The producer has been Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stanky. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Coffee Hour.